I found from other sellers, this was a blind buy. I kind of had a gut feeling about it. Wana. This is a reissue. Got this really cheap. This is their South American group, very much in the Santana vibe. Mostly instrumentals, a few little vocals, but smoking hot. Smoking. Terrible cover, but great music. And this one was not quite a grail, but one I've definitely been after for a while. Color Him Father, the Winstons. That's on Metro Media. Metro Media, if you can see that. This is kind of late 60s soul group. Title track, I just love that one. I've been trying to find that and haven't come across it. And just there it was in the bin one day. I think I'd actually gone through that bin a couple of times and went back to it. So there was something I decided to pick up. And there it was, and I'd passed over it. So nothing on here quite as good as the title track, but very nice. Very pleased to have that one. And actually, a lot of these finds from other sellers, very typical of the stuff I would get from that one guy's collection anyway. I almost wonder if there was a bit of pre-show trading going on, and some of this stuff ended up with the other sellers. I wouldn't be at all surprised. And this one, I'm sure is well known to the VC. Roy Ayers, Ubiquity. Got this for $6. Polydor. Haven't had this one on my radar for too long. I've seen a few copies around, but usually pretty beat up. So this one is really, really nice, and I was very pleased to grab this one. That hits that perfect sweet spot that you find in the early 70s, where kind of the genre barriers were breaking down. You had the rock, the funk, the jazz, Latin, all that stuff kind of getting blended up by groups like War and Mandrill, those kind of guys. That's just that sweet spot I just love. And I got this one, Outlaw, Eugene McDaniels. The Left Reverend McD on Atlantic. This is a reissue as well. Perfect shape. Got this really cheap. This guy started out in the early 60s as kind of a traditional singer-songwriter. Took a few years off. Late 60s he got very politicized and came back and put out this album and another one called Headless Heroes of the Apocalypse. I've got those on CD. And he was a songwriter as well. He wrote Compared to What, which was on Roberta Flack's First Take. And he wrote Reverend Lee, which is on this one, which was on her second album. Kind of very politicized, kind of hard to pigeonhole, mix of R&B and jazz, and kind of gonzo soul, I think of him as. Very outspoken. I got this one, The Impressions, Keep On Pushing. It's on Spartan. This one probably paid a couple of dollars too much for. It's got some wear on the cover and a few scuffs and scratches on the vinyl, but plays perfectly. And Curtis Mayfield and the Impressions, major influence on Jamaican music. That kind of three-part harmony inspired a multitude of Jamaican groups right through to the 70s, as well as, of course, the rich Curtis Mayfield songbook, often covered in Jamaican music, particularly kind of the late 60s rocksteady era. So getting into a bit of reggae, that's my little segue for you. I got a few 12 inches. Peter Tosh, Buckingham Palace, on Intel Diplo Hymn. That's his own label. This is original Jamaican pressing. title stands for Intelligent Diplomat of His Imperial Majesty, Haile Selassie I. And Buckingham Palace. It's an extended mix of a tune from his Mystic Man album. It's got his backing band Word, Sound and Power on it, with Sly and Robbie on the rhythm section. This is him trying to kind of court the R&B, funk, dance, crossover market that Bob Marley was trying to go for with the Exodus period stuff. Peter Tosh, of course, original founding member of Bob Marley and the Wailers, later went solo. I was very surprised to find this one. Militant Barry, Pistol Boy, back with Green Valley. I'm very surprised to find the price I got it for. This is on Manic Records. This is produced by Keith Hudson, who's kind of a cult figure within reggae. I might get into him a little bit, do a little profile or something a little bit later. He's kind of an interesting figure in his own right. Militant Barry, a little bit on the obscure side. He was a DJ who went to England, where he found a little bit more success, I guess, than he did at home. Recorded 2 LPs. I have one of them on vinyl and a couple on CD, both of them on CD rather. Pistol Boy is about Sid Vicious, his commentary on the situation with Sid and Nancy. He was kind of a DJ who tended to do a lot of commentary on the issues of the time in his songs. Idi Amin was another one he did. That was kind of his thing. And I got that. Oh yeah, that one. Pistol Boy is on the, by the way, on the same rhythm as Alton Ellis Rhodesia, also produced by Keith Hudson. This one, Delroy Wilson, Money Trouble, and B-side says Money Disco, but in fact is a completely different tune called Have Some Mercy, which is one of his big tunes, and is on the same rhythm as George Faith, To Be a Lover, which was done for Lee Perry. This is not that same cut, but this is a Canadian pressing. Delroy Wilson, one of the great reggae singers, started out at Studio One. You're going to be hearing that a lot from me when I show reggae. And last but not least, Aswad, New Chapter on CBS, UK pressing. Comes with lyric sheet. This is from 1981. Aswad, one of the premier UK reggae bands. The reggae scene kind of different from Jamaica. I've explained a bit about Jamaican music, how they would not have bands as such in general, but have kind of a floating pool of session musicians. The UK scene, a different culture, kind of midway between the Jamaican culture and the English rock scene, where so the bands that came out of England would tend to be self-contained bands, playing their own music, writing their own songs, rather than relying on versions of songs already created. And Aswad, one of the best. They would be used as a pickup group by visiting Jamaican artists. I think they're playing on the Burning Spear live album from the late 70s, and had a long and distinguished career of their own. This is one of their more solid roots albums, as well as dipping into a little bit of the softer lovers rock style rhythms that were very popular in England. After this album, they started moving more towards a pop and dance hall kind of sound. If you know that song, Don't Turn Around, that was popular kind of the late 80s, I think, early 90s, they wrote it and did the original version. Alright, so that was about it. A pretty big haul for the record fair. So I hope you've all managed to stick with this. I should have another update for you not too much longer. I've got a few new odds and ends I've picked up since the fair already I could probably show. So it won't be too much longer. I'd like to thank everybody for watching. I appreciate your support. It's been nice getting to know some of you and and interact with the community a little more. I've got a few new subscribers. Welcome. I wouldn't be doing this without you guys. So thanks so much. I appreciate all of you, and I'll see you again next time. Cheers.